Hi, I'm David Adom, and this is Veg Masterclass. This is going to be our first episode, and by the time we are through with all the class, you should be able to perform basic takeoffs, complex takeoffs, and also be able to prepare your own templates. Let's get right into it. We'll now proceed to launch the Planswift software. So this is the software Planswift software interface, and with this class, we'll be going through an overview of the software, tabs, and the buttons you need to know about before we start actual takeoffs. So before we start, I would like us to upload a drawing so that we can use that as our basis for the overview. So before anytime you want to upload a new job or a new file, click on new, and then you assign a code to your job. So let's say DA, kind of put a date, fit. Description, I'll use residence. In the note, you can type in the footnote you want. And then my measurement type, I'm going to choose metric since I'll be working in meters, centimeters. Then you click on next. Here it opens the file manager where you can select your PDF or the drawing you want to work with. You can select by checking the box and then you click on next. But you can also select more than two drawings at the same time. But with this demonstration, I'll need only one, so I can uncheck the rest and just select one, click on next. I don't convert to TIF. I will explain that later. So I'll uncheck the box. We'll get back to that later. Click on next and finish. So now we have our drawing here. It has been uploaded. So this is a proposed 2-story, 3-bedroom house. So we'll go through the home tab, then we move to the page, in the tools view and the likes. So as we said, within this area, the job area, we have our new. That's when you want to set up a new project. Open, that's if you want to upload the previous projects you are working on. So you can search for the name or even click on the type of file you want. When you click open, sends you back to your previous takeoff. You also have your zoom section around here. Anytime you want to zoom on a particular item or drawing, you can click on zoom, draw a box to select the area, and then right there you zoom. You can also click fit page for your sheets to fit on the workspace. And with zoom in, once you click, it zooms in into it. Zoom out, you can click to zoom out, and you have your pan. So if you want to move the sheets or the page around, you can left click and hold, and you drag it along. Left click and you hold. And now to the most important procedure is to scale your sheets. Always be very cautious when you are scaling, because once you get the scale wrong, all your takeoff will also be wrong. So this is where you scale your sheets, and I'm going to demonstrate it so that we can move along. Always scale the longest dimension on your x-axis and also the longest dimension on your y-axis. So on this axis, we have our longest being 10.05 meters. So we are going to click on scale, type 10.05, and we have our units in meters. There's an option here to apply scale to all pages. I would advise you not to check it. Scale the pages individually. So we click on OK, and always make sure you find the center of the line. Click on it and find the center here, and you click on it. So now we've scaled the x-axis, and now we can move to the y. So this is 12.025 meters. So we click on our scale, enter 12.05 meters. Same thing with this. You look for the center of the line, you click on it, and now we've scaled our sheet. But to be sure we've properly scaled the sheet, I'm going to test with this dimension. So anytime you want to measure a dimension from the sheet, you can click on this dimension too, and now we can verify whether okay. So we have 0.6 meters, meaning that side is okay. So now we have our sheets properly dimensioned. So the software comes with an inbuilt scale. You can access them by clicking on the arrow down here to drop the scales down. 1:50, 1:500, 1:50, 1:220. But then I advise you to manually scale. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So just to avoid the hassle, just scale every sheet manually. So then that's what we need to know about scale and then your dimension. Now these are the tools we'll be using for our takeoff. We have area tool, we have our linear tool, segment count, and we have our auto count. Just to do an overview, we can click on the area tool, change the name, click on the area tool. You can change the name here, change the color if you want. Click on OK to activate it, and you can perform your takeoff. You can press escape on your keyboard to leave the dimension command. And if you want to measure something else, you can go to your left and then see this green button. Click on this and you're back to record mode. And from here you can change. So you realize at the beginning when I was taking off for this, I was moving point to point. So you can also change the record mode into a box, so that instead of moving point to point, you can only select one side and drag to the other. So now we have our area for both column bases. So below the area two, we have more tick off options: single click area per meter square, volume in cubic meter. Whenever you want to calculate the volume of an item using area, you can select this. It's going to give you a section for depth. You can enter your depth here, click on OK, and you tick off. You also have your metric roof area. This is where you measure the area of your roof. You enter the pitch. Same as performing the area for this takeoff, you also measure the area of the roof. Grid tool, usually we use it for ceiling joist. Yes, calculating for ceiling joist. If I can click on this. So you have your vertical spacing, your horizontal spacing. And so you have your joist also for the same purpose. You can also use it for calculating for rafters and palings as well. Now we move on to the linear tool. So let's say you want to calculate the perimeter of this formwork. So formwork for the column base. You can click on this. And then while you move around, you can calculate for the length or the perimeter of the column base. And also below this, you have a lot of options. You have your single click, metric wall area. That's if you want to calculate for the area of a wall. Since you'll be using the line, you can measure the length of the wall or the perimeter of the wall, and then you insert your wall height here, and there you have your area. There's also linear cubic meters. So when you want to calculate for concrete in trench excavation, there's this option you can use. It's the same as linear volume in cubic meter. So since you are going to have get your length from the takeoff, you have an option for the depth, which is described here as wall height, and then the width of the trench you want to calculate for. You have the segment tool here. So the segment tool works the same way as the linear tool. The only difference is that whereas linear provides a continuous takeoff, segment always breaks it down. Let me demonstrate it. So from this section to this point, once I click, it stops. But with the linear, you realize whenever I click, I can still continue. We are still in record mode. Yes, we are still in record mode with the section, but it always breaks it down. And this is ideal for calculating concrete in trench or trench excavation, because you have the pit excavation between the trench. Sometimes you don't need a continuous line. You only need to break at a point. If you have any questions, kindly leave it in the comment section and I'll attend to you shortly. We also have our count. This is when you want to count. So once you count, you it's recorded. So move on to the next tab. That'll be the page tab. So everything that comes with your page arrangement, rotation, you find it here. So we have batch, rename, pages. So anytime you upload a drawing, I'd advise the first thing you do is to name all the pages. So when we select batch rename pages, it's going to open this box, and then we can change the name here. So we have foundation layout, then click on enter. It moves you to the next page, footing layout. Click on enter, and then it sends you to the next page, ground floor, ground floor. So that's how you name all your pages. And anytime you want to rotate your pages, you can use the options provided here. Batch rotates pages. So in case maybe when the drawing came, all your pages were rotated in the same direction, you can batch rotate it with this option. So you can start with first page, rotate to the left. Now we have all our pages rotated to the left. Let's send it back. Now we can rotate to our original position. Realize I skipped level, and I said at the beginning that we're not going to convert the pages to TIF but in PDF. So one disadvantage of doing that is you will not be able to level your sheet. So when we go into another class, we are going to convert to TIF, and then I'll demonstrate to you how the level works. Same for the flip and horizontal flip. When you convert a PDF file to TIF, you can always level and use your flip and horizontal flip too. Now crop as new page. So let's go back to foundation layout. So we have two different perspectives here. We have the plan and we have the section here. Since we've already scaled this section, I would like to demonstrate this to you. So I want to get the dimension for this, which is 1.2. So I'll go to dimension and check whether I'm going to get the same dimension. No, because you're using the scale from the plan for the section, which is not right. So just to separate this, I'm going to crop as new page. So we select crop as new page and select the area we want to eliminate. Create the new page. If you want to rename it, you can rename it from your section and click on OK. And now we have our page here. We can scale it and pick our dimensions from here. Then we move to the tools tab. This for calculating the pitch of, let's say, a roof. And then we have triangulate. Also helps you when you are calculating for the length of a rafter or a purlins from your drawing. I'll demonstrate all that to you when we start taking off a roof. In case you want to send the Planswift file to someone. So for instance, you've already taken off, you want your supervisor to cross-check your takeoff, you can zip the file into Planswift file and then send it to your boss. You can upload it on the Planswift and get the same takeoff you have here. You'll be able to check your takeoff properly. So to zip, can click on zip, you rename it and then click on save. So now we have our save job saved here. Now we can send it via WhatsApp or email. Choosing the means of your choice. And this way you unzip the file. So assuming I'm your supervisor, you sent me the saved job, I can click on unzip, and then now we have the file here. When I click on open, it will send me right back to this takeoff we have here. See, because I already have the job here, it's asking to override. I would say no because I already have it. So this our view tab. Show labels. In case you want to see labels on your dimension, you can hide them from here. So these ones, anytime you have your dimension, your overlays, show dimension. So you can also, there's also a shortcut here where you can show every dimension on your sheet, and the takeoff, so you can turn them on once you click on this and turn everything off at the same time. That's the same options provided for you in this section. Can feel free to explore. So this our estimation tab. This where you build your inbuilt estimation cost here, so you can insert your total cost, your overhead, your markup, price per each rate, and once you are taking off, your cost is being calculated. So this is your templates tab. This is where you create your templates, and remember Planswift comes with its own inbuilt template system, but I think when I went through, I found it difficult to use. I think their system is quite different from ours with their drywall and the stuff. So I built my own template here, which I'm using. I've uploaded here, and I have two, let's say, versions that I use to perform takeoffs. This is your settings tab. So this is a simple overview of the Planswift software. And with the next class, using this drawing as our sample, we'll be using the tools, and I'll be teaching you how to take off using the tools available to you on Planswift. See you in the next class.